is CTV News.
Good evening, I'm Sanjay. Maru. Thanks for joining us. At a time when municipalities across Ontario are struggling to fight homelessness, a new report shows the problem is getting worse. It's estimated 85,000 people were living on the street in 2025 across the province. And here in Windsor, service providers say it comes as little surprise as they open their doors to more people in need. CTV's Robert Lothian kicks things off tonight.
On a night of snow and gusty wind, the downtown mission is busy with those looking for relief from the cold.
We definitely see more people coming into the mission, accessing shelter services at the mission throughout the day and night.
A trend of increasing demand is noticed by service providers across Windsor, according to Rukshini Panayagulan. The head of the downtown mission says between 120 and 140 people are walking through their doors each night over the last week, regardless of the weather.
It shows that there's definitely extra and a growing need for individuals needing shelter space and just supports.
Ongoing efforts to tackle homelessness stretch across Ontario. A new report from the association representing Ontario municipalities says about 85,000 people were experiencing homelessness province-wide last year.
We know that it's really a all-government approach because to deal with the crisis, to deal with setting up a warming center or a shelter is still more expensive in the long run than finding somebody proper accommodations.
Amos is the province is now home to about 2,000 encampments. They estimate the cost of ending chronic homelessness is $11 billion over the next decade. Panayagulan argues much of that is needed in housing supports and addiction recovery.
I think those are the investments that help to move people on with their lives and forward and upward, and getting them out of places like an emergency homeless shelter.
By choosing not to invest, the president of Amos says taxpayers will still shoulder the cost one way or another.
When you think of how many homeless people end up in jail and the cost of supporting somebody in a provincial jail, or how many people end up in a hospital.
Over the last count in 2024, 672 people were estimated to be living rough in Windsor. With supports like Windsor's Heart Hub making strides, Panayagulan is hopeful that figure is on the decline.
This is supposed to be an emergency short-term homeless shelter, and unfortunately for so many, it's become more of almost like a backbone of support.
Robert Lothian, CTV News, Windsor.
Well, if you've been out on the road driving over the last few hours, you've surely seen the salt trucks out and about. Municipalities across Ontario say they've had to use more road salt this winter than in years past. Across the province, some communities have been asked by suppliers to scale back salt use as demand surges. But local officials say in Windsor and much of the region, they're in a stronger position. Part of that comes down to geography and having the source right in our backyard.
We do have a contract with Windsor Salt. They are our supplier, which really positions Windsor and the surrounding municipalities well in terms of supply. We've got a mine right here. We're geographically located right where the source is. So that really does afford us some luxuries that other municipalities that are further away from the source don't have.
City officials say having the Windsor salt mine close by makes a big difference. With an earlier and icy start to winter, the city used about 3 times more salt than last year in November and December, but staff say they've stayed ahead of it, reordering early and keeping both salt domes at Crawford Yard and the Environmental Services Yard well stocked. So far, there have been no delivery delays and no impact to service levels.
Typically, over the last several years, maybe 5 years or so, we've averaged about 15,000 tons of road salt a year. Already this year, we've used about 6,000 tons. So that is an early start, but we definitely, we don't know what is ahead, right? We don't know what to expect moving forward. So we'll adapt and we'll move forward and do our best to predict.
The Dodge Charger is taking top honors, named the North American Car of the Year. The Windsor-built muscle car is adding to a growing list of accolades, and the recognition is helping kick off the Detroit Auto Show. As CTV's Michelle Molesky shows us, analysts say the award not only validates the vehicle, but could also be a positive sign for auto workers here at home.
The winner of the North American Car of the Year is the Dodge Charger. A proud moment for Stellantis as their 8th generation Dodge Charger took top spot from North American automotive journalists.
And we always say we win when we're different. And I believe this vehicle pushes segment boundaries.
Dodge Chargers first started production in Windsor with an EV version in September 2024. The gas-powered version rolled off the line just this past December.
Windsor is a terrific partner with Unifor. The last generation Charger was built in Brampton. We have a long-standing tradition with Unifor, and we're looking forward to their help in building a quality car.
Elisa Priddle test drove the Charger for Motor Trend magazine. She gets why reporters ranked it in top spot.
You step on the pedal and the thing just takes off. And so the performance is very fun, it's very intoxicating. And so I can see why judges would get in and they would get out with a smile on their face.
Sam Fiorani of Auto Forecast Solutions believes the engine change led to this award.
Adding the six-cylinder into this vehicle gives it a new life, gives it a chance to flourish on an excellent platform and an excellent design of a vehicle that got lost when it was an EV.
In May 2024, just after U.S. President Donald Trump announced tariffs, Stellantis postponed production of the Daytona all-electric Charger, also made in Windsor. Fiorani and Priddle both believe the EV version will come back eventually.
With this platform, we can flex to meet that demand. And you know what? It may surge on the coast before it surges in the middle of the country, but we can adapt and we can meet their demand when the customers are ready for the technology.
Experts say building Chargers of any variety is good for Windsor Assembly.
This is a plant that has been underutilized for too long, and having a higher volume product in there will give life to the plant and keep the employees coming into work and building cars.
Michelle Molaski, CTV News.
The city of Windsor is expunging parking tickets given out during a funeral service. A social media post about parking tickets went viral over the weekend. The post says about 70 people who were parked on the grass next to Harvest Bible Church in Windsor were given tickets. Those people were attending a packed funeral for a 22-year-old man. Pastor Christopher Eelman telling AM 800, 800 to 900 people attended the funeral, but the lot could only accommodate 275 vehicles. Mayor Drew Dilkins says he reviewed the tickets and directed parking enforcement to cancel them.
If there are circumstances where people know that they're likely to have a huge turnout, you know, if you let us know in advance, and I know it's imperfect, you can't always guess, but if you let us know in advance, we would make sure that we didn't even issue the tickets.
Sentencing submissions were heard today in the case of a Leamington man who pleaded guilty to murdering his elderly mother, an attack that was captured on video. CTV's Chris Campbell reports.
Today's court hearing was not about guilt. That was already decided when 62-year-old Kevin Goodings pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in the death of his 83-year-old mother, Anita Goodings. Instead, the focus today was on sentencing, specifically how many years Goodings must serve before he can apply for parole. Assistant Crown Attorney George Spartino says matricide, or the killing of one's mother, is incredibly rare.
I've done several of these types of cases, but matricide is so rare, and to me, I don't know, it just cuts to the heart of, I don't know, like almost a human soul. To kill the woman who raised you, gave you birth and raised you, I mean, that's just horrible, horrific in my view.
The body of Anita Goodings was discovered on the back deck of her Leamington apartment on March 12, 2025. Last month, court learned Goodings stomped his mother's head nearly 10 times, repeatedly kicked her in the torso, and covered her face twice with a pillow. The entire attack was caught on security camera footage. Goodings was arrested 3 days later at the downtown Mission, where he was found using a fake name. The court heard 8 victim impact statements from family and friends detailing the anguish and trauma they've endured. Goodings' younger brother Brian wrote, "Absolutely no one will forgive you for this. The saddest part of that statement is that she forgave you before you were done committing the act." A second-degree murder charge carries an automatic life sentence, but the judge needed to decide how long before he can be considered for parole. A joint submission from the Crown and Defense calling for 12 years before parole eligibility. Defense lawyer Dan Scott cited factors like Gooding's early guilty plea, sparing family from trial, noting Goodings did not suffer any previous mental health concerns. Justice Maria Carosilla saying his actions were brutal and horrific, determining Goodings won't be eligible for parole for the requested 12 years, saying in her ruling, "It is clear to me your intention was to kill. There is nothing you can say or do to me that can change my mind." Goodings has been in custody since his arrest last March.
Off the top of my head, I can't recall a murder plea or conviction to go from the time the offender's arrested to the day he's sentenced, 9 months. I can't recall that.
He is banned from ever owning weapons, must provide a DNA sample, and cannot communicate with a list of 10 family members or friends of the family. Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Some Bell Canada customers in Windsor, Essex had difficulty calling 911 from a landline today. Bell Canada, the parent company of CTV News, says callers were only getting a busy signal. Those calling from a cell phone may have experienced long delays before the call connected. As of 3:20 today, the issue has been fixed. Well, water levels on Lake St. Clair are lower than expected this season. So low at one point, the shoreline sat about 100 feet from the break wall in Bell River. For one resident, the shrinking water line is raising concerns about what comes next.
This is where the normal water line used to be. Level was probably 50 feet past the end of our dock. So we're talking about 100 feet from our break wall. It's just strange to see it this low.
Longtime Bell River resident Kaz Abdul purchased this waterfront property on Lake St. Clair 10 years ago.
Just east of the Bell River Marina, it's all sand. It's all the way sand, all the way over. You can kind of see where the water line is now.
Abdul recalls historical high water levels in 2019-2020.
That was like the extreme. We had no beach, and the water was like splashing under our dock or our deck here.
With all these highs and lows,
It makes you wonder now what's going on with the ecosystem here, the Great Lakes.
But according to the Essex Region Conservation Authority,
it is rather dramatic, but it's not unusual.
Water levels on Lake St. Clair have been monitored and tracked since 1918, and these levels are no cause for concern.
You see this cyclical process, and it varies from 11 to 15 years, highs and lows, highs and lows, highs and lows. And we are now just in a recession period where the lake levels are lowering.
The rate at which it lowers depends on storm systems and barometric pressure. In the meantime, Abdul is patiently waiting for the spring in hopes water levels will once again rise.
Just to make sure that we can put our toys in the water at the end of the dock, but that'd be convenient.
Stephanie Mazzotti, CTV News.
Still ahead, officials from Denmark and Greenland face their American counterparts as the U.S. threatens to take Greenland over. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joining me now for a look at the forecast. Gary, the snowfall seemed to come in today pretty suddenly. Will we see more snow heading into the rest of this week?
Looks like it's cold enough to see it. Certainly this system of low pressure, which we forecast, we knew it was coming in. We knew it would be a midday, early afternoon start. And it was significant because, like a switch going on, it really just pulsed right through, picked up steam, and then just went with it from west to east across extreme southwestern Ontario. Starting in Windsor, the heaviest bands move quickly further east towards Chatham, Kent, Erio, Rondo Park, Morpeth. Our friends in South Buxton got quite a load full, at least 5 to 10 centimeters, and 10 to 20 will be down in that part of extreme southwestern Ontario due to the system of low pressure you see here before dawn tomorrow morning. And by sunrise tomorrow morning, the wind chill factor in our neck of the woods will be somewhere between, say, minus 15 and minus 20. It's still a windy night right now. It'll be a windy morning. We'll finally see the wind subsiding out of the northwest towards the latter stage of the afternoon. The coldest air is in place. The warmest air is to our east. That's why rain is draped across the northeastern USA. We'll take the snow rather have conditions that we know that we can deal with rather than some of that freezing rain mixed in a little bit further south and east of us. More snow on the way with a secondary system on the heels of the one we're dealing with right now. Coming late Thursday into Friday, I think 2 to 5 centimeters will be tallied up. And look at this. If you have travel plans anywhere along the 401 corridor between Toronto towards Windsor, Essex, and vice versa, you'll go from 5 to 10 to upwards of 40 centimeters of snow on the ground. It will slow things down at airports along the way throughout southern Ontario and reduce visibility. Snow squall activity, in particular Chatham-Kent towards Erie O, tonight into tomorrow morning is a concern, hence the weather statement from Environment Canada. Tonight's low, well, technically tomorrow before dawn, -7, flurries, windy, feels like about -15 and -20. And more snow in the morning through the midday. Our high tomorrow isn't that impressive. It's below seasonal, -8. We'd normally be at -1. Flurries Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And temperatures, while bumping up in 48 hours to 0 degrees Friday, will definitely take a nosedive yet again next week. And temperatures could be averaging -4 to -5 for daytime highs, below seasonal yet again.
Bonnie Crombie has stepped down as Ontario's Liberal Party leader effective immediately. The former mayor of Mississauga won the Liberal leadership race in 2023. However, in last year's provincial election, her party finished at a disappointing third. The future of Greenland is the focus of a key meeting at the White House today, with foreign ministers from Denmark and Greenland holding face-to-face talks with U.S. officials. And it comes as Denmark sends forces to the semi-autonomous island after Donald Trump can't seem to tone down the takeover rhetoric. CTV's Joy Malbon reports.
After months of fielding threats, Denmark ramped up its military presence in Greenland with the help of its NATO neighbors, Air Force, Navy, and Sweden sending in troops, part of a promise to beef up Arctic defense. And to counter President Donald Trump's threats, for months Trump insisted the mineral-rich island is vital to U.S. national security, posting, "It is vital for the Golden Dome that we are building," referring to his missile defense system. If we don't, Russia or China will, and that is not going to happen. The White House mocking what it calls Greenland's defenses, posting this image of sled dogs.
It is not easy to think innovative about solutions when you wake up every morning to different threats.
We're going to see what happens, but we need it.
After their White House meeting, the Danish minister insists China and Russia are not immediate threats, but will look for ways to accommodate Trump's concerns.
Of course, we share, to some extent, his concerns. There is definitely a new security situation in the Arctic and the high north.
Adding, it's totally unacceptable not to respect Greenland's sovereignty. And Trump's ultimatums, well, they're not going over well with Greenlanders.
The United States will try to buy Greenland or they will invade it.
I'm afraid that he will destroy the NATO alliance and he threatens our kingdom and the Greenlanders, and I really don't like that.
The delegation says it will meet with the Trump administration again in hopes of strengthening cooperation, but with one big red line: as allies and not owned by the United States. Joy Malbon, CTV News, Washington.
Canada's main stock index is up as gains in the basic materials and energy sectors offset losses in tech. In Toronto, the TSX gaining 46 points. In New York, the Dow falls 42, the Nasdaq dropping 238. The Canadian dollar gains 0.05 of a cent. Gold adds more than $36 an ounce, while oil is up 95 cents a barrel. As we showed you last night, sepsis resulting from a mommy makeover in Costa Rica almost killed a woman. Now, as she learns to live without the use of fingers or toes, she and the medical community want to make sure others are fully informed. CTV's Pauline Chan has part 2 of her series on Canadian medical tourism.
Nicole Grigorov's medical tourism trip resulted in more than a tummy tuck and breast lift. Sepsis led to the amputation of her fingers and toes.
To be honest, Pauline, when I saw my fingers and my toes for the first time in Costa Rica, I knew, I wasn't going to be able to keep them. They were black.
Doctors Ron Samoji and Corey Goldberg say they're treating a growing number of overseas procedures gone wrong.
If not every week, it's every other week that I see a patient that's gone out of Canada for their cosmetic surgery and has come back with some kind of problem.
As the market for surgery abroad has increased, the number of complications that we're seeing regularly has increased as well.
And while they don't often see the kind of life-threatening complications that Nicole Grigorov suffered, many of the problems can be permanent.
They had given her what I would argue is a male hairline and a very low one at that. And she was in tears and asked, please, can you reverse this? Once that's done, you can't.
It's self-serving to say patients should come and have surgery with a Canadian plastic surgeon. But the reality is, to us, there's absolutely nothing more important than the patient's safety.
Dr. Samoji says overseas clinics may accept patients who otherwise might not be approved for surgery here due to weight or other health concerns. Other countries also have different products and standards for things such as implants or even sutures.
With cosmetic surgery, good cosmetic surgery, the pillar of care is really the follow-up, and that's what we sort of stress to patients is if they're going out of country, by the time they come back to Canada, they don't have their surgeon there anymore.
Follow-up care for cosmetic surgery can take months as the body heals and settles, but medical tourists won't be abroad for that time, so it falls on the Canadian health system to fix any problems that result.
So for my recent patient that was admitted to hospital for 5 days, CT scans, drainage procedures, a drain being placed, multiple days in hospital. These are thousands of dollars of OHIP funds, and it's a huge burden, huge burden.
In the final part of our series, we'll look at some of the legal issues surrounding cosmetic surgery abroad and why so many Canadians are still choosing to go despite the warnings. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Horrific details are emerging from Iran now that phone service is partially restored about arbitrary detentions, fast trials, and planned executions for protesters. Activists say more than 2,500 Iranians have been killed by the regime. CTV's Adrian Gobriel has more.
As smoke rises above the streets of Tehran and protesters clashed with security forces, Global Affairs Canada is issuing a clear warning to Canadians in Iran. Get out of the country immediately.
This is a very real threat, and it is escalating.
On January 8th, Iran's government cut off the country from the internet. Since then, Iranians have been risking their lives to share these images of brutality with the world. Today, Iran's judiciary had signaled that trials and the execution of protesters would be fast-tracked despite warnings of a military response from U.S. President Donald Trump. Personnel at a key U.S. military base in Qatar have been advised to evacuate by tonight as concerns of a repeat attack on American troops there begin to escalate.
The fact that, the United States has pulled out some of their troops in Qatar is indicative that they think that that threat is real. They have some intelligence, and they're probably got things planned to attack, Iran. And, what are they going to attack? It could be military sites. It could be infrastructure. But we should expect something.
With more than 2,500 believed to be dead, Iran hasn't seen this level of violence since the chaos surrounding the country's 1979 Islamic Revolution. The protest broke out on December 28th after the collapse of Iran's currency, as the country's economy was squeezed by international sanctions levied in part over its nuclear program. Holding up signs of Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, thousands took to the streets outside Tehran University for a pro-government mass funeral on Wednesday, as caskets draped in the country's flag, said to be carrying the bodies of approximately 100 security officials and civilians killed in the clashes, were paraded down the streets. Though this is a country far from united, there is a shared concern, as some military experts warn targeted U.S. strikes on Iran may be imminent. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Being released release from a sports team is not normally a good thing, but in the case of Windsor's Devin Verizuk, it's great. The Hamilton released the linebacker so he can pursue an opportunity in the NFL. Verizuk, drafted second overall in last year's CFL draft, has signed on with the Indianapolis Colts. The University of Windsor student has withdrawn from school to focus on being his best for Indy's organized team activities in April.
When I was 16, 17, whatever, I mean, I don't know, if you would have told me I would be putting on an NFL helmet or signing an NFL contract, I probably wouldn't believe you. So, yeah, it's been a crazy times, but and it's been a wild ride. I mean, I took the long road, but I wouldn't want it any other way.
Gary is back with a final look at weather. Gary.
Sanjay, my concern tonight is surfaces. Surfaces coated by anywhere from about 4 to 10, maybe even 15 centimeters of snow between Windsor, Essex, Chatham, Kent, and the surrounds. Also, we're dealing with very cold conditions. The actual ambient temperatures are frigid. Add to that the pesky winds out of the northwest. They've been sustained quite intense in that 30 to 40 kilometer per hour range, with gusts in the 60 to 70 range late tonight. More snow tomorrow, a couple of centimeters possible. More snow, though, in Chatham, Kent, 10 to 20 centimeters by the time this system's done tomorrow morning. And then more snow Friday through Monday. There will be 2 brushes with low pressure systems moving through southwestern Ontario over that stretch of 4 days. Temperatures below seasonal next week as well. Be prepared for early mornings with it feeling like about -10 to -15 when we head to work and school. Of course, check your calendars so that you're not startled by that. Good night.
And prior to the snow that fell this afternoon, there wasn't any snow on the ground this morning, but the water was plenty cold to kick off the upcoming polar plunge event at St. Clair College. St. Clair students participating in the kickoff event to the upcoming polar plunge with a frigid slip and slide of their own with the help from the pre-service fire and rescue students. It was all good fun and in support of the Special Olympics. In total, Windsor Police Service, Fire and Rescue, and the students of St. Clair College combined to raise $13,500 for the cause. And that is your news for tonight. Thank you so much, as always, for watching this edition of Windsor's News Leader. Another reminder to stay off the roads unless absolutely necessary. We'll see you right back here tomorrow at 6 and 11.